What's this? This says Unsung Handmade Shoes and Repair House. Can't really actually see the stamps at all. They're like worn off or never were stamped. But that's the two gentlemen who make these boots. And these are the boots. Well, they're in bags. You get these cool boot bags. They have the same stamping on them. This is the U22-2. And it says Unsung Engineer Boot for generous use in service of good, thoughtfully made, one pair at a time. Take care. It's kind of cool. So yeah, you get these boot bags. And these are the boots. In case you're thinking you weren't even getting to see them with the stealth footage here. But these are the boots. And these boot bags are serious. They make me think of some of those, like, who is it? Angel with a noble, what is it? Something apothecary, and he had a work breeches, and sort of like undyed denim material, like just pure cotton before they put indigo on it. They're really heavy duty bags. So yeah, these are those engineers. I've never done, I think I did a short on them, and maybe just, well, when I first got them, and then you've seen me walking in them in some of my other shorts. But I've never actually done a proper video on them. So here they are. Something that kind of was a little snafu when I got them. I had given them my measurements. And unfortunately the gentleman, I think, forgot to check the shaft height measurement, and these shafts were too tight. I was able to, I think, I had to poke another hole in the original straps, and then they're like basically not even going through the back of this. They were too small. I don't know. Maybe I have big calves or something. I think it's more my height or something. Maybe, my calf muscles lower down in these or something for the size. I don't know. But it didn't work. They offered me to send them. I had to ship them back to them, but that's going to be a cost out of my pocket. So what I actually decided with them was they just were going to send me the replacements, because they said they still had some of this. This is Horween natural Dublin, probably my favorite leather. It's really one of the main reasons I bought these. This is a really thick natural Dublin, thicker than even my Nick's natural Dublin. But they sent me new ones, and I had asked them for some of the thread, but then there was some miscommunication. They didn't send it, so then I had to ask them what thread they used. They told me where to get it. I bought a small amount of it from, I'm spacing on the name of that. They sell kind of like some sewing and leather supplies. So I was able to re-stitch it using the same holes and the same thread. And these are the old ones. You can see it's funny. They're marked. I actually was playing around and cut off the tips and was trying to repurpose them for some other thing. That's what this is. It was sort of like a heel pad in those Oak Street penny loafers or whatever, beef roll. But you could see there actually were marked 12 where they sewed it inside of the boot in there. And then these were the original. This was probably this one. The original buckle holes were started kind of very close up right there. But those didn't work. After I got the new ones sewed in, I basically just figured out where I wanted the straps to be for me, put a single hole, and then they're now kind of custom for me. I never undo these. I don't really see the point with these straps at all with engineers. Both this one and this one, they don't really do anything. I realize I don't really like engineers because of that. It's kind of like unnecessary to have this. You can't really tighten the boot anyway with them. And then I guess you could tighten this down, and then you would have to loosen the top one, maybe. I don't know. Like, they don't really make sense. It's really just a styling thing. I really just prefer cleaner pull-ons. I think this boot would look better if this was just solid and this was missing. It just would be a cleaner look. They don't. The straps kind of are stupid, and then the buckles get in the way of your pants and stuff. It's a little silly. Yeah, that's just kind of my take after having them. It's my only pair now. I sold my Wesco Van Cleefs because the fit of that MP Last was trash. This is a 12D, and this is infinitely more comfortable and a superior fit. The Wisterloos were the MP 1339 and an 11.5E, and they were terrible. The ball was probably bigger than it needed to be for my foot, but then the toe box was super curved in and terrible. My big toes were so. I just got tired of all the pointed toe stuff. Got rid of the Packers. Got rid of those. My big toes can't handle it. This is the PBD Last. It's an unsung. I believe it's an unsung proprietary last, and it's much more generous. So this is a great toe box. It's very simple, good shape. Kind of wider. Very comfortable. 12 was kind of surprising, but I think it was because they didn't have an 11.5, and my foot's too big for their 11. These were already made. So that they offered was if they gave me a insole, leather footbed insole, made by them, it would tighten them up and should probably be correct for my foot. And they were pretty much right. With a kind of a boot sock and the insoles they gave, then these fit very, very well. Without the insoles, they would be kind of sloppy. Maybe if I had some crazy thick winter sock without the insole that could possibly fill it up, probably not. And then even with the insole, I can't wear my thin socks, but I wouldn't necessarily want to wear them anyway with these. I did find kind of an in-between, a Wrangler over the calf sock that's kind of honestly on the thinner side, but it's boot-ish. And those I wear mostly with these. And then I guess I have a little bit of room. They were nice in this kind of late summer when it was still warm because my feet swelled. With the sock being not super thick, there was still room. Whereas sometimes, now that it's cooler, I've worn a boot sock with these that aren't over the calf, and it snugs up the fit a little more, but then these just keep the socks end up sliding down over and over again with these. So I prefer the over the calf, because then you don't end up having to kind of fish your sock out of the shaft and lift it up. These shafts are quite tall. Definitely a 10 plus inch. I think it might be a 12-inch shaft, maybe at the upper side, because they kind of go up. They're so tall they don't even fit in the camera. I think it's a 12-inch, but they're definitely tall, and they curve upward on the outside. So if you see, there you go. Now you can see it this way if I put them back a little bit. So they curve down, so the outer sides flare up. What else? They have a really nice fit. Stupid boot bag. This is a weird shape. Like you look at this and it's like, what the hell? But it allows your foot to get in and your heel to kind of slip past this spot, and then he pops down into the heel counter, the heel of the boot with a nice pop. I don't know. Like if you weren't wearing those, and who wears these boots with shorts? But if you could see this all the time, it would look kind of weird. But when you have your pants on over them, it doesn't matter because it's covering this anyway. But visually, this is kind of strange looking compared to like other boots, which kind of more, once they curve in, will kind of go more straight. But I see why they do this. It allows the foot to get in and out much easier. You might have to like undo the strap maybe if they didn't have this, and you'd be really stretching it. I have no issue though. You just pull and they pop in, and then it's great. The build on these is very nice. I don't know if one guy made both pairs or they share. Some of the videos you watch on their YouTube channel, it seems like it's just one of the two guys doing the whole thing. So it's kind of neat if this was really the whole pair of boots was made by a single individual. That's kind of like a creosote or whatever level. Pricing wise, you could say these were kind of priced like creosote, I think, used to be some years ago. But from what I've seen, and I don't have an interest in those boots, but I think his prices have gone up quite a bit. But these were a pretty penny, but I don't regret it. It was kind of like a, splurge cost. They don't really, or splurge buy. And they, gave me comfort that looking at my measurements, I sent them my measurements as far as like a, tracing on a paper, and I measured out the different measurements they asked for. There's a video actually where they talk about how to get what measurements they want from you, and they supposedly compared to the last, and like I said, with the insole, it worked. I actually kind of like that it has an insole anyway, because this boot, similar to the Wesco Van Cleefs that I sold, the it's almost like they expect Wesco. I think definitely expect you to have an insole because they give you one. But without it, there's a bunch of clinch nails all over the front, like the front of the boot. Tons of clinch nail holes and stuff. And your feet sweat a little bit. I feel like those are gonna rust. If you feel with your hand, you can feel all of them. It feels like it'd be really weird. Whereas typical Nicks whites, there's just a few clinch nails here and there, but most of it is the stitch downs holding it down. They don't put a ton around the front of the boot, and all the ones in the heel, that there are a lot in the heel, holding the heel to the boot. Those they put the sock liner over it so you don't see them. So with these having a bunch of clinch nails up front, wouldn't necessarily want my foot straight on that for comfort. So I kind of like that they gave me it's a nice thick veg tan footbed insole that they gave me, and it fits in there perfectly, obviously, because they know how to shape it for their last. Versus like a Nicks or a Spenco or something where it maybe doesn't go all the way to the sides, and your toes can kind of creep off the edge of the insole, and you kind of feel it. These you can't feel anything because the insole literally goes all the way to each side. So it's a good. I tried running a Nicks one for a little bit, and then it was inferior, Wicked and Craig, and I realized because these were squeaking like crazy when I walked. My son told me I sounded like SpongeBob, so I realized from talking with some people that I just covered the bottom of these with Open-Offs, the leather footbed, and let them dry overnight to soak in the Open-Offs, and then stuck them back in. And so, because I don't want my foot straight on the Open-Offs and be kind of greasy, but it seems like the Open-Offs kind of moisten the veg tan insole, and then where it contacts the bottom of the boot, it doesn't squeak anymore. Goodyear welted, obviously these aren't stitched down. That's a difference. I was talking about Wesco. They have this really cool Dr. Sole corded sole. It's kind of like I guess they would still call it black, but it almost looks grayish. I wouldn't say it's as dark black as, say, like a V100 Vibram, or actually any of the Vibram 430s, whatever. This has more of a grayish. It's not like green. It almost looks greenish in the camera, but it's definitely grayish. And it could just be from the cording or something. But it's a very cool sole. Very grippy. It's nice. You can see it's a half sole, so you still have some leather there. Really good. Really good construction. Very nice boots. Well worth the money. I mean, they're heavy. This is just a ton of natural Dublin. And the stitch works super nice. I love that it's white stitching with the contrast. That's something that always made me crazy with like Nicks. You can't. Somebody posted on Reddit like a Merriam horse butt pair of Nicks Roberts or something with white stitching. And of course, Nicks is like, we can't do that anymore. And I'm like, sure you can. You just choose not to. And it's just dumb. Upcharge the people for it. They'll pay for it. The white stitching on brown leathers looks amazing. Just, they really did take the custom out of custom. How they don't do anything. But I love this look. All that white stitching everywhere looks super dope. Look at that little detail there at the top, little triangle. That's really cool. There's that little interesting detail, the way they sew that out. It could have just been like a box or something, but they kind of go out there. That's neat. And then in the back, that's a really neat. There's actually a couple details here. That's really cool. And then at the top, you can see this. Just super neat. Stamped on the inside with that same logo you saw in the box. Let me see if I can. The two dudes. I think it's Garant and I can't remember their names. But they do really cool work. If I was going to have anything resold, definitely would contact them first, because if you watch their videos, their attention to detail is insane. They're just beyond premium. Oh, and check this out. You can even see another little detail stitch in there. See that one? I don't know. I think those little things are kind of really cool. Just shows what a premium product it is. So yeah, this is my only engineer now. I don't see myself ever buying another one, but definitely not selling these. They just look amazing. Comfort's amazing. Natural Dublin is just freaking epic. Obviously, always is. This is a super, super, super thick natural Dublin. This is like, I feel like 7 or 8 ounce Dublin. I didn't even know they made Dublin this thick. You can look at this right here. Look at the beef. Look at how thick that is. Here. You see how thick that is? For the vamp piece. And then there's a slight little tiny thin layering thing there, but these are really thick. And they're still Dublin, so they're super just plush and they flex great. And hopefully I've found some good photos I've taken of these on my feet, and I'll throw them in throughout the video. But they just, when you bend down, crouch down, the way these creases look, it's just freaking ridiculous. I literally got a compliment from a neighbor on these. She was just like, man, those are really nice boots or something like that. I feel like nobody ever compliments me on any of my boots. These are the boots that I've gotten a compliment on. So yeah, they do. These look super sick with a kind of lighter denim, like a, kind of a, not stone wash, but kind of lighter. They look good with a dark denim too, but they really pop with the light denim. These are my favorite during kind of, I guess, early spring and late summer, where I could get away with still wearing pants and boots, but then I'd pair this with like a Hawaiian shirt, those kind of light denim in these, and I just feel like I'm freaking Tom Selleck from, Magnum PI. I just need the Ferrari. So, yeah, anyway, these are the Unsung U22-2s. Highly recommended. You gotta have a appetite to spend this kind of money, but it's a luxury product, and you can feel it. The quality of this puts P&W stuff to shame. It's just amazing. They're tough as nails, but also they got the finesse through the roof. So I think the price is worth it. And if people are crazy enough to spend $2,000 on a Brandle, I think spending $1,600 on these, which is what I paid, is much more justified, because this is a superior boot. And it's legitimately made by one guy or possibly two guys max, because that's literally that's them. So this is bespoke. The only difference is they didn't measure my foot and build it to that. They took my measurements and compared it to their last and said it would work. Cheers.